Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about that major upcoming winter storm that could be coming up this weekend into early next week. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, how much snowfall do you think is possible with this upcoming snowstorm? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now, I'm very excited to announce that my area, my local area of Southeast Virginia, at least where my house is, I received 3.5 inches as of 5 a.m. this morning. That's when I started out my morning. It could end up being more. We have a couple hours left of snowfall. That is far more than anyone was expecting, I think, even including myself. So that's a failure I am very, very happy with, and I am like a kid this morning. So I'm going to try to contain my excitement and still just talk about this upcoming snowstorm, which I am also very excited about. So let's get straight into things. First things first, we're taking a look at the European model, and finally we have some agreement on this one. I'm very excited about this. So we start out with a 999 millibar low pressure center over Missouri. We get some snowfall going on over portions of Iowa, Illinois, and through Indiana as well. So things are looking quite snowy to begin things out by this point. As you can see, as we take a look at about 1 p.m., this snowstorm does move eastward. It weakens a bit, but we do have plenty of moderate to heavy snowfall going on from Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, in through Virginia, even my local area, again, briefly in the beginning. Again, that's by about 1 p.m. on Sunday. So Sunday could be a wintry mess, even in the mid-Atlantic, the southern mid-Atlantic. We're going to be watching for that. Rain will eventually wash that away in the more southern regions, where you will again have a chance of some back-end snow on Tuesday. It's a very interesting scenario. So snow, rain, snow, kind of like a snow sandwich going on. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, where we're going to watch this come up the coast and become an even stronger snowstorm. So by the time we reach about maybe 3 p.m. on Monday, you can see this becomes a 995 millibar low pressure center, and it's over the Delmarva on the European model. We have moderate to heavy snowfall basically from just north of DC up through into Philadelphia, up through New York City, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia. So this is a very exciting snowstorm because we're getting a lot of those bigger cities involved. So I'm sure there's a lot of people excited about this potential threat, and it does work its way up to Boston, which makes it kind of that classic DC to Boston storm track actually. All right, now here we go. We're going to be taking a look here at our next frame, and that's when it's going to basically move out. You can see there's a pretty broad area of low pressure along the coast, and that's going to allow for this one to actually be quite a hefty snowstorm for many, many regions. We're going to take a look at the snowfall totals at the end of this video, but let's move on to our GFS model. We're starting out as a 997 millibar low pressure center in Missouri, seeing that light to moderate to heavy snowfall going on for Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. And what we're going to do is move on and take a look at the next frame, where we watch us enter into the eastern United States and see if it looks the same as the European model. Let's see in a minute. All right, now here we are taking a look at about, well, this is probably about 3 p.m. there on Sunday actually. As you can see, that moderate to heavy snowfall is pretty significantly further north, but what I like about this is the model is generally on the same idea. So that's increasing my confidence, at least, that we have two similar storms. I'm feeling like they're getting closer and closer together if you've watched our previous videos over the past few days. So I'm feeling good about this, guys. You'll see on my confidence tab at the end, I've actually taken quite the leap here. We're very close to this storm, actually. There's just been so many storms back to back that I haven't gotten to talking about these too early on like I normally would. So we're pretty close to this one, actually. And as you can see, by the time we reach about maybe 11 p.m. there on Monday, I would say February 1st, you can see that we have plenty of moderate to heavy snowfall going on from DC up through, again, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, southern New England. So this one becomes a little bit more of a classic nor'easter, I would say, actually, because we end up with that snow basically going on all the way from DC up through Philadelphia, up through New York, into Boston. And we end up actually at the end of this storm around about 11 p.m. or maybe 10 p.m. there on Tuesday, February 2nd. You can see we end up with that kind of southern New England up through Boston, up through Maine. So this is going to be pretty much a DC to Maine nor'easter, very classic nor'easter track for the entire East Coast to cash out on some snow. I really have my fingers crossed for the solution, and I'm not even included with the snowfall. I'm excluded on these for the most part, and really I don't care, because I want these people to see snowfall along the East Coast that have been waiting and waiting and waiting. I got mine this morning. Honestly, I'm not getting too greedy. I'm very, very happy with that 3.5 inches, honestly. I can't ask for any more. That would be very greedy of me. So that's the most I've had in years, like I've stated. So I want everybody else to cash out at this point. So I really, really have my fingers crossed for you guys. What we're going to do is we're going to move on and take a look at that Canadian model, and then we're finally going to get into those total snowfall maps according to all these models towards the end of the video, and I'm super excited to talk about that because there's some exciting things that come along with that. All right, now here we are taking a look at that Canadian model, and we've moved a little bit further on, but look, this one actually has a pretty heavy snowstorm for the Ohio Valley and the Midwest, a little bit more so than the other models did. We're seeing moderate to heavy snowfall from Iowa and through Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, all the way straight into West Virginia and Virginia there. So that's, again, kind of the AM hours, 4 or 5 a.m. there on Sunday there. Now let's move on towards about 7 p.m. on Sunday, and you can see this transfers to the East Coast. We're seeing that moderate to heavy snowfall for Virginia, Maryland, Delmarva, up through New Jersey and Pennsylvania, even DC at this point. And this one does the same exact thing. It develops a nor'easter right offshore of the United States. This one's in North Carolina, up through Virginia, up through Delmarva, DC, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, New England, snowstorms, so pretty much everywhere, which again is kind of like my dream of a storm because I have thousands of viewers up and down the East Coast, and I know a lot of you are in snow droughts, and I just want everybody to cash out at once. I think that'd be the most amazing thing. So join our Weather Freaks group, by the way, if you want more of like a tightly knitted community that's about the weather, because that's exactly what it is. We're all just cheering for each other, and we all want snow. It's a blast if you just love snow or love weather in general. It's active all times of year, so I highly recommend you do that. That's always in my pinned comment and my description down below, so you can go check that out after the video, of course. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at all of those snowfall total maps, and then we're going to close out the video. So I'm very excited to present that to you guys. All right, now here we are taking a look, and we're going to take a look at the ensemble models first, because this is how we're going to see what kind of agreement we have at this point. So that's very crucial, this stage of the game when we're having a little bit of disagreement. Seeing where the ensemble models have that snowfall is going to be crucial. So here's our European ensemble model, and as you can see, it's not calling for that much, and that's because it's an ensemble model. We have many, many different members calling for a bunch of snow, and actually for an ensemble model, if you're familiar with how they usually go, this is actually quite a bit for an ensemble model. So this is actually looking like a pretty major snowstorm. I mean, if an ensemble model is calling for 7, 8, 9, 10 inches, you can expect at least 10 inches to be pretty widespread in a typical scenario. I'm not saying that as in a forecast. I'm saying that just in a speculative way based on what the model guidance is suggesting. My forecast is not out yet. I'm not that confident yet. So we're not going to pay attention to the amounts, but the track. And you can see the GFS is like a little bit flatter, and it's a little bit more like a Miller B, which basically means it comes in more like a clipper and then moves offshore. But generally the same idea. Nor'easter off the East Coast. So they're agreeing on that at least, which tells me there's a pretty good chance we're going to see a major snowstorm. There should be because, well, we're only a few days away, so there shouldn't be any major disagreement. But yeah, so we're very confident there's going to be a storm, but that track is also looking more certain at this point as well. The European model, and this is going to give us a little bit more of a realistic output as far as total amounts. If you're anywhere in the grays, you're expecting a dusting, if anything. If you're anywhere in the blues, you're expecting 2 to 6 inches of snow. In the purples, you're expecting 6 to 10. In those pinks, 10 to 15 or even up to 18 or 20. And then, as you can see, there's a little bit of like a teal color there in central Pennsylvania or south central Pennsylvania. That's where you're 20 inches plus. So we're expecting the potential for close to 2 feet of snow with this storm. If a model's showing it, it is possible. So that's kind of how we look at it. But generally, 10 to 15 inches of snow seems to be possible, pretty widespread. So yeah, this looks like a major snowstorm to say the least. Let's take a look at that GFS model, and as you can see, generally the same story, again, just a bit further north with that, more for the upper Midwest, less for the Ohio Valley, and then kind of similar for the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and New England. And then the Canadian model is even further south, I think, than either. Yeah, it's the furthest south there. We even see 10 inches for southern Ohio, central Indiana, central Illinois, and down in through Virginia, DC, Maryland, Delmarva, and then up close to the coast. That has some 20-inch plus amounts near New York City and near Boston as well. So it kind of actually has little bullseyes near DC, New York, Boston. So that's very interesting. That's kind of like the dream snowstorm right there for kind of like East Coast people. So I wanted to talk about one thing as well. Before we close out the video, this is kind of our snowfall of the season, our total snowfall of the season. So I'm very excited about the storm that just happened and also the one that's upcoming, because we could potentially fill in a lot of these regions that are low on these amounts, including North Carolina and Virginia. They're going to be filled in with dark grays or blues for the winter, and then we're basically going to get one. Hopefully, it looks like that's going to come straight up the East Coast. All right, so here is my confidence tab. I think we were at a 2 yesterday. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we were at a 2 and we've hopped to a 4 because we have that agreement on the models. Everybody's coming into agreement. We're a lot closer to the storm. This past storm is past, so we're getting that model guidance that is updated with the current situations after that storm came through. So I feel good about this. I'm at about a 4. It could be higher, but yeah, we're at a 4. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, what do you think this upcoming storm is going to be like, the big one? And James Marr, who won the comment of the day for the second time in a row, said, I think it has potential to be a blockbuster snowstorm for the Northeast. And I agree, this one has very high potential to be a pretty major one. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Sebastian Tao, John Bembenek, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Alan Balemo, Adam S., Larry Lepan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, Aiden Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Alan Sherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Michael Buell, Terry Curtis, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Alicia Davis, Mark J, Luke Valego, Gary's, and John Quilisi. If you would like to be a part of our Patreon page and support the channel, you can do so by joining our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.